What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Logic Bomb Podcast, episode 45. Just me and Zeronic today, but North Star rolled out yesterday. Yesterday, at the time of recording this, North Star went live. Both of us have spent some time playing it, which is good because, as we talked about last episode, we didn't get to try it a lot on the test server. So I'm getting my teeth kind of dug in right now. Also, in probably bigger news, Zeronic got a puppy, or dog, I guess. It's not really a puppy, it's a teenager. Yeah. So Zeronic got a dog, and maybe it'll make an appearance at some point during the podcast. That would be cool.
He's getting ear scratches right now, but he's probably going to jump up during the podcast and give a hug at some point. He's
all right.
A bit too cuddly.
Well, congratulations on that. I firmly believe that we as humans don't deserve dogs.
I agree. They're too good.
They're just, we don't deserve that kind of unconditional love. No. And,
he is joy. It's actually,
awesome.
This is the first time ever that I didn't play on like the first day of the season going live. Because we pretty much just got this guy.
Okay.
Other than that, it's only been like traveling home from events and then getting on like the same day that the patch went live after flying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was a bit weird, but I played a lot today. I'm happy with the new patch, but damn it, is there many weird things that made it either from test server or just things that I'm a bit confused about. I don't know if you've noticed, but the operator icon, like moving when you're playing, it's like stuttering across the screen.
Yep.
It's so disorientating.
It makes it feel like everything's lagging. Yeah. That's what it looks like. It's like when people have a high ping or like a unstable connection, how they kind of jump.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, and that's not a good feeling to have in a game.
I don't know what's causing it, and I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter what's causing it. I just don't get why that made it from test server to live build. That's one of those things that it's not okay that's in there. Oh yeah, there's a graphic thing that I don't know what does.
Rainbow Six Siege is just a weird, like what? Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong on this. When the border rework first came out, you could no longer jump a drone through the teller's windows and shatter the glass.
Yeah, any of the inside windows, of the inside ones.
You now can do that. Your drone now shatters that glass. I did it yesterday. Maybe that happened last season. But to my knowledge...
No, last season you couldn't do it. The entire last season you couldn't do it.
What happened?
I don't know.
What happened to allow that? Like...
I think we need to try and get a bug special where we get a dev on and we try to like get an explanation for why some of these things happened.
Maybe the explanation is that they were like, oh, well, that's not intended. We're going to go in and make sure that we fix that for this season. I doubt it.
There was a full season of your drone not being able to break the window in the small like little office in customs, the two tellers windows, the big one in jail, right? Why? Season.
Why did that happen? And now, why can you do it now?
Yeah,
like I think that perfectly sums up Rainbow Six Siege seasonal rollouts.
Yeah.
It's just like
there's a lot of why. I noticed. So I really don't enjoy the fact that they removed the level. I don't know if you've noticed, but looking like other people when you're playing ranked or anywhere, you can't see their level anymore.
Yeah,
and I know it's a thing that shouldn't bother me, but it has been a very good like way of determining if you should you watch the VOD back or not. Right? And then you could say, well, good, because now you don't have to worry about that stuff, but why not just remove the names then? Then we have streamer mode. Done. That was literally it. Like, they need nothing more than that. You can't see rank anymore. You can't see their stats. You can't see their level. The only thing that's missing is hide the name. Done. And then we get this half-assed update post thing where they're like, oh yeah, we can't do it right now.
What, streamer mode?
Yeah.
You know what? I should probably pull that up and read it. Let me pull that up and read it. Cover for me a minute here while I'm pulling this up, if you don't mind.
So the way I read it, at least, it looked like it was damage control, and it looked like it was written very quickly. Because after the whole reveal, after the Ubisoft Forward post show, where they did show the thing with outline for operators, which is amazing, like so good. And then there was a lot of like pretty empty stuff about some other things, and then streamer mode was just not mentioned at all. And then that post comes out.
I have it up here. I'll read it. It says, to the Rainbow Six Siege community, we know you're expecting an update on protections against stream sniping, and we know how important this is to you. Since our last update, we've been actively investigating several avenues for deploying a system that would counter this situation, all while providing an acceptable layer of security. But we don't want to set inaccurate expectations. As a 6-year-old game, Siege has a lot of technical debts, some of which go against anonymization or don't take into account the problem of stream sniping. This is unlike contemporary game releases, which are often built from the start with streamers in mind. This means the process of ensuring true anonymity is complex and not limited to the Siege team, but the team remains focused on providing a solid solution. This also means that we don't have a timeline to share at this moment. We want everything to be right to match your needs, which will continue to require validating and testing our approaches to ensure they're viable. Of course, we will continue to communicate on our progress. To the many great creators in our community, we understand how profoundly disruptive it is to both your gameplay and content creation experience. When you are targeted by stream snipers, we agree that it's unacceptable, and we ask that you continue to bear with us as we seek actionable solutions in and outside of the game to resolve the core reasons snipers are able to do what they do.
Yeah, it's a lot of blah blah.
Well, I think it's okay. Let me. So first of all, I appreciate them communicating on the matter. Period.
Sure.
And I also appreciate them differentiating, and saying, "Hey, this is the reason we don't have a streamer mode right now is because it's difficult, not because we don't care about it or that it's not a high enough priority for us."
Yeah.
That's a win. Thank you for putting that out, Ubisoft. I do think, though, that when they start talking about technical debts in a 6-year-old game, I understand. That's a very valid point. But guess what? It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Because at the end of the day, players don't care. Nope. And it's a reasonable explanation, but it doesn't help me at all. And if we are playing a game where the foundation is broken, and you're talking about 100 operators, we're talking about another 4 or 5 years of playing a game where the foundation is broken.
I mean, it's vague. That's the problem, right? Like, blame it on it being an old tech. We're getting so many new things anyway. Like, there could be massive core changes to how the game works. They've just added a new graphics setting. There's now something called VFX quality setting.
Yeah.
Right? I believe DLSS is coming as well, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so that's probably simpler to implement, and I assume NVIDIA is probably helping with that, right? But they can't just say that it's because it's old.
And they can say that.
Sure, but it's too vague. What does that mean, right?
So I think here's what I'll give them. Yes, that makes perfect sense that it's easier for a game to be built from the ground up with streamer mode in mind than it is to implement it into a 5 or 6-year-old game. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. That's where I'm coming from. So
couldn't they steal some of the stuff from Hyperscape? That.
Does Hyperscape have a streamer mode?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Same engine. I don't know. It's probably not some dumb plug and play stuff, right? But what
I wonder.
Kill feed? And the names. That's it.
I wonder if it's more of an Ubisoft Connect issue. Is there a single Ubisoft game that has a streamer mode?
Well, yeah, Hyperscape.
Does it? What's the streamer mode? What is it? What does it do?
I think it obfuscates your name, if I remember correctly.
To all players involved.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe that's not then. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Either way. It's disappointing to basically to read a post saying we don't have a timeline. This is extremely difficult, and we're going to continue working on it, but we have no idea when it'll come. Okay, but here's the other thing. What they rolled out as far as client side was better than nothing, right? Can we have that back? Because here's what I could do right now with that system. I could change my username. Well, the problem was the third party, wasn't it? Yeah.
We still have that stuff though, right?
No, we don't have it completely. When they initially rolled it out in the test server, you were able to like hide your name from your feed.
Yeah.
So what I could do is I could change my name, always have streamer mode on, and ideally nobody would ever know what my name is.
Yeah.
Unless they were using a third party that showed your former aliases. Yeah.
The worst thing with that is like the whole business behind that. So I don't blame R6 Tab, R6 Track, or any of those. They're using an open API.
Yeah.
But how much money do you think R6 Tab makes on bad people having premium to hide their previous names?
Well,
because that's most of the premiums I see.
Didn't Tab is R6 Tab Tabwire? I want to say Tabwire was just sold, wasn't it? And it was not a cheap purchase. Did I read that somewhere? Idea. Okay, maybe let me don't quote me on that. I feel like I read that. Sometimes maybe I dreamt it. I don't know.
No, our R6 Tab is Tabwire.
So okay, here I'll explain my experience with the whole Ubisoft Forward and that aspect. So I went camping over the weekend. I was not able to watch it live, and I came back. I got service. I put out an extraction video. When the embargo lifted, that was while I was camping. So I was catching up on those comments. I was looking through the Ubisoft Forward news and stuff, and man, I got hit with kind of like a wave of depression. like I know that that's a very serious statement. I don't mean to make light on depression, but it did kind of hit me like that. Like I was just like, you know what I mean? Like I was really like hoping for some good news, and I don't really felt like we got any. The cross progression announcement was a bit weird because
I don't get that
PC's getting the PC's getting crossplay with Luna and Stadia. Why are we even talking about those platforms? Is there more than 100 people playing Siege on Stadia right now?
What confuses me more is like it's not an achievement to make crossplay between Stadia and other cloud gaming services because it's just a PC playing a game.
Right. And it's also
I don't get it.
And also so the crossplay between they pretty much announced that crossplay between PC and console isn't going to happen. And I understand. I think Overwatch 2 is doing it right, in my opinion. And I'd like to see them revisit this. In my opinion, PC and console should have crossplay options, not in ranked, period. You cannot crossplay between PC and console and ranked, period. But if you have a friend who's on console, it should be off by default. But if there should be an option where they can go and select an option and be able to play with their friend on PC in unranked and casual. Why not?
I wouldn't even mind if it's in ranked as long as it's. Well,
imagine solo queuing and your teammate is.
But there had to be limitations.
Two teammates.
What's that? Limitations, right? So not free crossplay, but team crossplay. So if you're
in a five stack,
yes,
yeah, okay.
It would only ever be console players allowed to join PC players, and never the other way around.
But it would have to be a full 5 stack in order to queue for ranked.
So, like, if you have 3 mates on console that want to see if they can keep up on PC, sure. But you should never allow a PC player to play console.
Right. I don't know about you. I know that you put out an extraction video as well. The feedback I got in my comments for extraction was not good at all.
I didn't even read it.
Man.
So I purposely put up without comments on mine. Mine is just gameplay. There's no talking. There's no nothing. Well, I'm actually slightly excited for the game.
Well, for me, here's what it comes down to for me. What portion of the game were we playing? Because the way that it read was we played an Ubisoft Forward demo. Mm-hmm. Demo is usually a very small fraction of the game. So if what I played is a very small fraction of the game and the different elements that are going to exist in the game, then I think there is potential there. Well, if what we played is the majority of the game, meaning like what we played is representative of what every different level or whatever is going to look like, and there's no boss fights or anything like that, then yeah, I mean, that's a problem. Like there should be. I didn't feel like there was that much to the game that we played, but it was a demo.
Yeah, that's the thing. Have you ever played anything? Because like I've tried a lot of things like early access, and I don't mean like the public early access.
Sure,
it is extremely difficult to like actually get an idea of how's the game, right? Like,
agreed.
It's so difficult.
Do you remember back in the day, like when CD-ROMs were first popular, and like PC Gamer would put out their magazine with a bunch of demos on it? That's what I felt like I was playing.
I mean, I used to play demos like over and over and over, right?
Yeah, and it was just a very small, like one level, you know.
So I try to compare it to what it was I was hoping to get, and I was hoping to get Outbreak in a standalone, and I think it does more than Outbreak did. Like, I can't do a review because we haven't played enough, right? But some of the feedback, I think it was in Bikini's video, and full disclosure, I played with Bikini in this testing thing. I played with Catch and Bikini. He was mentioning that it was too easy, but no shit. Like, we're playing it on easy difficulty, and we're 3 people that play video games every single day for a living. Like, we're not going to be challenged by an easy game mode.
Do we know for sure it was easy?
Yes.
Okay.
We played it on like the easy, normal, super starter version, right? Okay. And that's probably because some people are going to be game journalists or just testers or whatever that play a ton of different games and that might not be that good. But if you come from Siege and you play Siege ranked, easy is way too easy, right? And we also, like, the feel you get isn't as good as if you were to play it on your own system, right? Because it's like it was cloud gaming,
right?
And honestly, like, I had fun in the amount of time that we spent there. The few things that I was wishing for was more content, which I don't know how much more there is, because we played I assume, small portion. A higher difficulty. I don't know how much there is or how far it goes, but I hope there is something that makes it almost impossible to make it through. So you feel some sort of you feel some sort of happiness when 2 seconds.
Sure. I'll just kind of give my thoughts while you're dealing with that.
He doesn't like the bicycle voice.
I agree with what you're saying as far as Extraction. Like, and I'll just say it again, I'm interested to see what the full game is. If that was representative of the full game, then that's a shame.
Sure.
But I expect, Outbreak had boss fights, right? Like, at the end of the level, there was like kind of like a boss moment. Do you remember, like, with the big guy who would come out and charge you? That's where they got the Nomad air jab animation from. That was like a boss fight. I never had a moment that was that cool in Extraction. I didn't feel like.
No, but in Outbreak, didn't we play? Wasn't there 3 difficulties on that as well?
There was, yes. There was like pandemic level.
Yeah, and I believe if you played it on the easiest one, you could easily solo it.
Okay. I don't think I did, because to earn the charms, you had to do it on pandemic.
Yeah.
So I was always playing it on the hardest.
We played it on the hardest as well, and like, one of the maps you could make it through in 9 minutes in Outbreak, right? So if you min-max and you like truly went through and tried to like speed run it, you could get through so quick.
Yeah.
And I feel like if Outbreak stayed out for longer, that would have been the downfall as well. Like, it was good because it was new and there was very little. And then we have super selective memory with like what we liked about it and what we didn't like. There was also some things that were kind of tedious, like the idea. I think it was like I don't know if it was like a shopping place or something where you had to like barricade, where you picked up Jaeger, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you barricade all the things and like the horde runs at you.
Yeah.
So easy. So immensely easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you just stand in 3 corners and you just shoot stuff that runs at you. I hope that Extraction is going to have something like that, because it's fun. But I hope it goes further than that. I also like that it allows you to... It allows you to try and stealth a bit. I never tried that. I just went full like Ash main and just zoomed through everything.
Here's the X factor though. Outbreak was free, and everybody in my comments was saying that Extraction was going to be $60. Have they announced that? Is that for sure?
I don't know where that comes from.
Me either.
My assumption is that the like deluxe edition or something is probably going to be 60.
Okay.
Like there's probably going to be some dumb pack with like a
figurine or something,
extra skins. I think it's still the digital deluxe edition or something, right?
Okay.
Like, most games have a $60 edition.
Okay.
Like, I think the mistake is to assume that this isn't a full game. Like people are saying, "Oh, well, it's a reskinned Outbreak," and it's not. It just isn't.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
If
I think it is fair. I think it is fair to have high expectations for the game, though, because if you think about it, they built it off the platform of Outbreak. I think that's fair to say. Outbreak could kind of like set the stage for it.
Sure.
And then it was supposedly ready a year ago, and they had 1 year to polish and refine it. So it's fair to have high expectations for it, I think. Sure.
But for me, I don't know what is missing. I think the feedback has been super unfair.
I was surprised to not see a boss fight. That doesn't mean that the full game won't have boss fights. But for me, I was surprised to never encounter that moment that I felt was as cool as some of those moments from Outbreak where that dude just comes crashing in and
we had a boss fight or a special one.
I don't feel like I did.
There was I think the one I uploaded, or maybe it's the one I didn't upload. There's we're fighting like a high tier Swambi that is more difficult than the others, but it was still super easy because it was uneasy. Okay. So it took like 2 mags of Ella and some stuns and some stuff, and then he's gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, like there was some stuff to do there. Why are you trying to eat the coffin, buddy? Hey. Little terrorist.
I think at the end of the day, the jury's still out for me on Extraction. Like, I played enough to kind of get a taste, which is what the demo was supposed to do. I'm going to wait to see what the full game actually looks like before I make my decision on it. That's where I'm at.
I think that's the fair thing to do. My issue is that it seems so extreme. Like, it's people complaining about the price. They don't know what the game's going to be like, right? Like, we don't have reviews out.
Right.
We have a few people that have tested like a little bit of the game, and I can't remember. Did we play for? I think I played for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, something like that.
That's not a long time.
No.
To get an idea of. Plus, we had everything unlocked, right? Like you get the easy entry edition where you can try different stuff, and then the idea that it's just Outbreak reskin. It's not like there are different games.
There's more to it than that for sure.
Like I'm gonna try it and we'll see. I hope it's gonna be good. I just don't think it's fair that people have like a whole review on it after watching a trailer. Also, the goo is super cool.
That could be something that could come to the game. I could see that coming into the game.
I legit think that's what the intention was with Gridlock. Because I remember them saying that Gridlock originally should have had like oil spill or something. That was like one of the original ideas, and the way that they did it in Extraction looks really cool.
Yeah.
Same with the foam stuff. I hope we get that on Siege.
Yeah. So let me go a little bit positive now. I played North Star a long time yesterday, and I had the most fun playing Siege that I have in a long time. Now, maybe that's my mindset. Maybe that's the season. Either way, I really enjoyed myself yesterday playing North Star. Thunderbird is coming around to me big time. Now, in playing her yesterday, I already had an instance where her gadget won the round. So here's what happened. That already happened to me, and I'll explain it for the viewers now. You can check my Twitter if you want to see the actual clips. But basically, It was on Clubhouse. I was playing as Thunderbird. I died early in the round, but I had all 3 of my Kona stations down on the objective. And it ended up in the last 5 seconds, they downed one of my teammates, and then they killed the other teammate. So time ran out, but we still won the game because they didn't plant, and the down but not out teammate got within the area of effect of a Kona station. So that gave them the option to revive, meaning the round ended with the attackers not planting, and the defenders won the round. Now, keep in mind, the defender did not activate the down but not out animation. He was just within that area of effect, and that was wild. I've already had a 1v1 playing as Thunderbird where the attacker got stemmed and gave me information on where that attacker was. It's that gadget is having an impact on the rounds, like more so than I expected. I'll say that.
I had one as an attacker where I was in a 1v1 and stimmed myself before I took the fight.
On purpose?
Yeah.
And you, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
It's, I don't know. So it's interesting because it does allow you to, I've actually survived the nade as well on purpose with the gadget. Like it has interesting uses, but it seems like Jaeger and Doc in a mix, and in my opinion, it straight up nullifies Doc. He's just not worth it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Much rather have her, and I think she's one of the first like 2.0 operators we got where it's really hard to argue that the other one is even useful anymore.
Right.
Like even with Ash and Sophia, we always saw a little bit of both played, right? Like it never got completely nullified. I can't see a reason to play Doc.
Well, I'm across the board. Just look at the total HP that she can dish out over the course of a round, especially if you're juggling them. She has an AR as a primary. The only thing that Doc has as an advantage would be the 2-time, right? Yeah. That would be the only
1.5, right?
Is it a 1.5 now?
I think Rook is the only
Oh no, it's Rook. Yeah, Rook with the 2.0. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can dish out more HP in a quicker time period with Doc.
Sure.
Unless you have all 3 Kona stations in the same location.
But you'll never need to.
I know.
Also, I might be one of the few, but I am really against the idea of healing in something like Siege.
Really?
I hate the idea that I could have done some damage to people with shooting for the wall, chip damage from a Meister cam or from a Twitch drone or whatever. Like old school Twitch when she did 10 damage a pop, right? Or like if you do a bit with Zero's gadget, or I don't like that you can just run back around the corner and then you're fine. You hit someone with a nade and like you think they're low. You call out that, Jaeger is low because he got hit twice in the thigh with a DMR. And then next fight he's full HP. I just don't like the idea of healing in shooters. They're too fast paced. It rarely allows you to play around healing like in a efficient and in a manner that makes sense. But I get that we have so many other gadgets that probably don't make too much sense either, so it's fine to have it there.
I'm okay with healing so long as the rest of the utility in the game is important, because you're going to have to sacrifice something in order to fit them into your composition. You know what I mean? Like,
yes and no. If you can survive a nade now, what's the ADS there for? Right? Like,
well, okay. Anyway, but because it's not automated, you have to time it perfectly. You could be, what if you get the stem a little bit too early and now you're down to 102 health instead of the full stem?
Sure, you know what I mean? No, you place it like half a meter further away than where you are, and then you take a step to the side when you hear the pin. Like,
I guess
there's quite a few things you can do. Come here.
I'm okay with healers in Siege.
I just don't see where they want to go with it. If let's say eventually we get healing on attack that isn't Finca, right?
Right.
There's so few times where you want to heal on purpose, because rotating your players around is extremely dangerous and extremely difficult, right? So it rarely allows you to play around healing. That's I don't know that it seems weird to me, but it's there. And I guess yeah, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, I wish that I was playing the favela rework. That would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun playing North Star yesterday. I really did. You wanted to talk a little bit about the battle pass. I think this is the best battle pass we've ever had.
I agree
personally.
In terms of like quality of what is in there, I 100% agree. I will say that I am immensely disappointed in two things. So when Jackal came out with the toaster headgear, we had a little rant about that. It doesn't look like a head. I think it's a terrible thing. And while they're fun skins and they look cool, they don't look like faces. Capcom now has a headgear that looks like a plant. If you sit, and the same with Nook actually. Nook has literally just a piece of moss. If you sit like coastline behind one of the little plant thingies, right? You're invisible.
And Capcom's got a lot of headgears that are weird. Yep. To be fair, it's something about his headgear that really blends in.
Yeah. I mean, sure, maybe not the most useful operator in most of the cases. Like he still does pretty well, but that headgear, I don't know if I can like excuse it and say that, well, if that outline comes to operators, then that helps. But the head shape is still so far away from what you expect to see that even if you put an outline around that thing, it's still kind of wonky. Like
depends on how the outlines are worked.
Well, the outlines aren't going to cut inside the skin or the cosmetic. That would look really weird.
It would.
It has to be the outside, right?
Yeah.
And I'm probably never going to lose a game because of it. But my issue is that there's a lot of people that have issues with skins, so probably shouldn't try to make them more difficult. And on that note, the new skin.
Yeah, I put out a video this morning just straight up calling the new North Star skin pay to win. And here's the difference that I will say between that and the Capcom headgear that you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. The Capcom headgear is available in one operator, okay?
Yep.
You can buy the North Star skin for every operator in the game, meaning that you can now have a North Star skin that blends into a lot of different backgrounds and makes you harder to see in a lot of situations on every single operator, every single round that you play. Mm-hmm. And that to me is like escalating, like that's where you start to enter pay to win territory, in my opinion. That's the difference between that and Capcom.
Yeah,
for me.
I don't care how I've never complained about like the camouflage value of the skins. It's always only ever been the shape. If they don't resemble a face, then that's rough. I never cared about Ember Eyes, or wasn't worried about it. But I think it's ridiculous that they release something that is like Ember Eyes when so many people have the issue with it.
Agreed.
That's my problem. Like I'm never gonna die to the new skin and go, oh, he's wearing that skin. And you've never heard me go, oh, he's wearing Ember Eyes. I just don't care. Because it's so rare that actually is the reason I died, right? Like you'll die to a fair gunfight and then you'll say, oh yeah, he has Ember Eyes. That's why. Because it's another thing you can be angry at. And sure, it happens. Like there are legit cases where people are blending in with the walls, but we've seen it with other skins as well. Like I've seen people in normal uniforms, like a box standard stuff, right? Just in the right position at the right time, you basically couldn't see them. What bothers me is that they are fully aware that people do not like these type of skins. Well, they're fully aware that people would like the skins to go away, but yet everyone uses them.
And that's the major concern that I have. Because like you said, there's zero chance that they didn't know that this skin was going to cause some...
Maybe they were hoping the outline would be there when the skin was released. I don't know if that's the case. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be that upset. Then I don't think it's that wrong.
But here, they could have very easily gone with the search and rescue theme, like the Battle Pass has. The search and rescue theme. Search and rescue people wear bright colors. They want to be seen. They do not wear camouflage.
Yep.
And they very easily could have done that.
Yep.
And that would have fit the theme for the Battle Pass.
They did that last season, right? Everything was orange. Pink, and then before that it was orange.
How many people do you think bought those?
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair. I don't think that the main driving factor for making the skins the way they are now is cash. I just don't believe that.
Is cash?
Yeah,
Okay, then you are saying that they are tone deaf. That is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that's worse. I would almost rather them say, listen, guys, the only skins that people will buy are ones that are camouflage.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Like if they just say, we're releasing them because it makes a lot of money, then fine. Like I'm not mad at that.
Right. I would rather them say that than to say we didn't know that this would cause a problem.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. Okay, let me explain. I don't think that the entire team didn't know that it would cause a problem. But different people are different groups work on different things. I think people were sitting making skins and then going, oh, this looks cool. And I don't think it was properly vetted before it came out. I don't know. But I refuse to believe that the plan was that this is going to make a ton of money, therefore we'll do it. Because the Battle Pass skins are sick. Release stuff like that and you'd make a ton of money. And how many people, let's be realistic, because someone said this in my chat today, that Ember Rise was probably made them a ton of money. And while that might be true, because I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't think that many people have it. I think that a lot of people in ranked have it. Is that really like your average casual Siege player, your unranked player that plays like a couple times a week? Are they going out of their way to try and get that, or do they just want to have something that's kind of cool? Like I have Ember Rise on one operator, and that's Amara, because it was the season she came out, and I had the uniform for her because the other one looked bad. And I do have some Ember Rise skins, but I like my operator still cool. And I don't think I've ever used Ember Rise and felt like I had an advantage as a player. Like while playing, I don't feel like it changed the way I played or that I did better. People would surely complain about it. Like I'd get a completely fair kill in a gunfight where we're both seeing each other, and the only comment would be, "Oh, it's Ember Rise." I don't know, man. Like, are that many people using it?
I don't know. I mean, I've only played one day. I
like Ember Rise. Because if that's the reason that they did it, that Ember Rise sold so well, because that could be the only correlation, right? Like if we're saying that it's for the money, they must have looked at Ember Rise and then said Ember Rise just sold a metric fuck ton.
Right.
It probably sold better than most other seasonal skins.
I would think so.
Yeah, sure.
My guess for the top, if I was guessing, top
Wind Bastion and Ember Rise.
Wind Bastion, I would say, and then throw Blood Orchid in there too, because Blood Orchid was like the first one that was like all black.
Oh yeah.
And I remember people being like, "Oh, it's all black. You kind of blend in."
Yeah.
So like Blood Orchid, Wind Bastion was kind of up there, and then Ember Rise would probably be like my top 3 that I would guess. And then maybe they're thinking, okay, well, player outlines are coming, so we might as well try to cash in on this while we can. I think they'll sell more skins once the player outlines come, because they'll have more flexibility to do whatever they want. Like if this seasonal skin came after the outlines, I wouldn't say a word, because you've got the outlines.
That's
and
my
so
hope
they
is
can
that
do.
they wanted to have the outline out now, but they couldn't. Like that, I am gullible and hoping that was the plan, because if it isn't, then that is truly disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there, but I don't know, man. I mean, we've never seen that. The first time we ever saw in print that they were working on player outlines was this player concerns update, correct? I never saw them say anything.
I think there was a response back when one of the test servers had the Villa glow on operators. I think there was a response because so many people said that the visibility was much better in Villa. I still refuse to believe that it was just a mistake. I think it was just like a shadow test to gauge interest. Because if it was truly a bug, it's a fucking weird bug, man. Like every operator just...
Is it as weird as your drone being able to go through glass one season, but not the next?
It's weirder. But I didn't hear a single person say they didn't like that.
I see some people in my comments saying that they hope that player outlines don't come. There's still a portion of Rainbow Six Siege players that want it to be more like a milsim than
sure, but so it's not a player outline. It's called rim lighting, right? It just means that when light hits it, there's a difference in depth. So the light will shine like the outside of you a little bit more.
Calling it player outlines probably isn't doing it a favor.
Yeah, like it's not going to be like when your teammates have outlines on, right?
Right,
like,
right.
But it will help with visibility, and also we have to remember there are people playing that might not have the best eyesight, stuff like that. It's probably going to help them quite a lot. And not to say that like every operator has to just be bright red and bright blue, and then we remove all textures and everything is like super simplistic. I'm not for that either. But I would like to see a Siege in the stadium style where things are clean. They're like a Siege Pro mod, if you will. Yeah. Where all decals are like super flat. There's lighting is like unified over the whole map. Operators all have rim lighting, and then you can allow people to have whatever skin you want because the background isn't going to be hiding them. The question is, would people be okay with having ranked maps like that and then having unranked and casual maps the way they are? Because you can subtract stuff from the unranked maps. And has anyone ever, like, in ranked, like, do you ever, like, appreciate the view when you play ranked, or are you just worrying about trying to win?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to win. Like, I mean, yeah. Again, I would throw at you the would you have to have two different map renders in the game? Would that increase the file size? How does that play out on console? That would be my initial concern to what you're suggesting there.
Maybe. I don't know how much it will cost to have a low texture for a map.
Right.
But I have no idea what I'm talking about at all.
Yeah.
But what they did with like Stadium and the way that looked is still the most enjoyable thing I've ever played Siege on.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. But but I mean, here's another thing to say, man. It's been so long since we had a new map in this game. Who knows what a new map would look like if they made one?
Yeah.
Maybe when we finally do get a new map, it will be closer to what you're talking about there.
It'd be nice if we got Favela.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really don't get why they don't just throw it in rank, man. Like, if it does poorly, then take it out. But
my guess is this, dude. Like, there was a period of time there where they're introducing the new maps. Pretty much all of them were getting completely destroyed by the community, saying that they're garbage, and they got tired of that.
Sure.
And they're like, "Listen, we want to rework maps, but we want to make sure that your expectations are tempered a little bit, because if we're going to rework House, we think there's a really good chance that the competitive players aren't going to enjoy this map, and we don't want to sit there and take the abuse that you guys are going to spew at us. So we're going to call it a casual rework."
But I think that's a massive mistake that Siege is doing in general, is that they listen too much and don't follow whatever vision they might have enough. I really don't think it's the best way to do things. I would have loved to see what would happen if they just built the game that they wanted, instead of taking a little bit of feedback here, a little bit of feedback there, and then getting a mix of something that is half what everybody wanted and half what everybody didn't want. there's a lot of weird like decisions, like the scoreboard. Why is there a histogram in the scoreboard? Why?
I don't disagree. I don't think it's needed.
It doesn't destroy the game for
It's
me,
not.
right?
It's not CS:GO
Nope.
where there's an economy and where there's like 15 rounds. We're talking a game where you might only have 4, 5, 6 rounds.
Yep.
I don't need a historygram of 6 rounds.
Nope.
You know, it's you know it. I agree with that. At the same time, I can imagine myself as a UI person and looking at all these other games that have that and being like, yeah, we can do that. We can fit right here. That makes perfect sense. Let's try it.
Yeah, but
You know what I
I think
mean?
the scary thing there is that why look at all the other games and then go look what they're doing? Because like you should look at your own game and then try to figure out if is it needed. Like
Right.
Siege is very good at doing some things that no other game can. One being destruction, right? Like it's insane. Map layouts, the fact that we can like do super vertical and super horizontal stuff that just doesn't happen in any other game. Valorant and CSGO are amazing, but they're extremely simple in terms of what you can and can't do.
Right.
The level from like 0 to 100% in skill is still immense, right? Like you can become so good at both of the games, and I think the skill ceiling is equally as high in all the games. I think this whole thing with like, oh, this game has a higher skill ceiling, I think it's very difficult to measure. I think most of the time it's just used as like some elitist and bullshit. Like, a good player in Siege and a bad player in Siege are very far apart. And the same in CS. It's just different things that set them apart, right? I don't think they have to go and look at another game and then go, oh, well, they're doing it this way, then we should as well, right? They also changed kill death assist or kill assist death to kill death assist. Now,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Like I don't mind, but why? It's such a weird thing to add. And you know what? In a month, I'm not gonna care. I'm not even gonna remember.
Yeah.
I just don't get why I spend the effort or time on that when there are plenty of things in Siege that could have been worked on in terms of UI. I'm not even gonna say like any of the programming stuff or something, but like the people that had the time to do the UI, there are plenty of things that I feel like that could have been spent better on. Menu system in game, for example, could have seen quite a bit of an upgrade because that is a shitty experience,
Especially on console with lag.
Tons of things that.
What about the new icons? Does that fall into the same thought process for you? Like, I don't really care, but why?
I don't mind that they made them more simple, cool, but it pisses me off that Vigil looks like he's already taken. Vigil literally looks like he's like grayed out. Why? And I think it makes it much worse when they're jittering across the screen.
For sure.
In the operator pick phase, like I play the whole day to day. At no point was I ever clicking on an operator and didn't know what I was clicking on. Right? Like,
well, yeah, and that's the part of the player base that I have a really hard time sympathizing with, because it's like I just imagine my perspective, and this is saying a lot because I can make a 10-minute video about the simplest complaint that you have. Like, trust me, I can do it. But an icon that has no gameplay ramifications whatsoever, if I really strongly dislike the change, it would probably come out of my mouth once.
yeah.
And then I would move on. I can't imagine making a YouTube comment about it, much less a Reddit thread about it, or spewing any type of hate towards the devs for the decision. It would simply be, I like the old ones a lot more.
Yeah, that's my feedback as well. Looking at them, going, meh.
Yeah, but I'm moving on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter to me either way.
I think my problem with the whole like change some of those things is it looked like they tried to make some of it simpler and fancier, but it ended up becoming a little bit more complicated. The kill cam, for example. Why? It's such a big change.
It is, but I think it's cleaner personally. I do feel like the whole.
Why are you showing a replay thing in the middle of your screen?
I agree with that. I understand that they should move that to the corner or something. Probably, I do agree with that. But do you remember like how like whenever you would kill somebody, like sometimes it would be like zoomed in on a smashed face, and like all that stuff was kind of messy, you know.
I don't like that. I can get so much info when I die.
True. Like, and here's the other thing I'll throw at it. Why? Correct me if I'm wrong here. Why didn't they include a way to turn it off in custom games? Or did they? I don't think they did, because I've heard a lot of the pros complaining about how much information you get from the new kill screen. Like that's the type of stuff.
I mean, you do it in ranked anyway. It shouldn't be in the way the kill cam works should not be the way it works. It just shouldn't. In terms of like fairness, I guess you can argue that, well, you died, so even if you get a little bit of info, it's not like, you know, the other guy still came out on top. But no, it's too strong. It's way too strong. And on top of that, there are small little things that are just dumb. You don't need to see a massive skull in the middle of your screen when you die. It's not, you know you're dead, right? You don't need the time in between. Just give the kill cam. Because I kind of want to skip the kill cam most of the time. Sometimes I would like to see it. And if I would like to see it, now I have to wait through the whole like rotation of everything, then watch the kill cam. That's a long time to go.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do think I think that it's fair to say that to a new player, that sequence of events does feel cleaner now than it used to. I also think that it gives probably too much information. I think you could say that you could make the case that kill cams don't belong in ranked, period.
Sure. Well, I would agree if cheating situation was different.
Correct.
Until then, no. Because we had a time where there was no kill cams in ranked.
Yeah. Yeah, that was added in Skull Rain, I want to say.
I believe so.
The kill cam in ranked.
And it is a horrible thing to say that I want kill cams gone in ranked, but right now I do not trust the game nor the community to be able to handle it.
And I want to like differentiate something that I said earlier. I understand that you've always been able to turn off kill cams in custom games. What I'm talking about is the sequence that happens as soon as you die before the kill cam plays.
The death card.
You get a lot of information from that. And pros are like very concerned with it, understandably so. Like if you're going to like, I would like to see the type of forward thinking come into this game where whenever they do something like that, in comes the option to turn it off in custom games. That to me would show that. And I haven't gone through the custom options. Maybe it's there. Maybe they added in after the pros complained. But once we start seeing stuff like that, that to me is going to start is showing like, hey, they're learning, and that's like forward thinking. That's like them anticipating problems. That's them like really starting to like, I don't know, like bring Siege into the modern age, I guess you could say.
I will say smoke propagation is awesome. The sound on the smoke grenades is horrendous, but that is what it is. Like you either get used to it or maybe they'll change it at some point. But the smoke effect, how the smoke grenades work now, is so good.
Yeah.
Barricades, the way they work, the way bullet hole works, like all of that is super good. I had a ton of fun playing the new season so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's tiny small things that seem ignored. I'm sure they aren't. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But it's those things that keep staying around that are bothersome, right? Like bugs that were there on test server that didn't get fixed. But at this point, I assume that the test server is more to see just if things are stable and more as a PR thing and not too much as an actual like testing place, except for I guess the reinforced hatches, health on armor, drone after death, all that. Like we did get to test all of that. Sure, no one played it, but we did get to at least try. But to see some of the bugs go through today, like I was killed by a friendly nade with no indicator. Like if that's an actual comp game, I would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
Right, like the guy dies with a nade in his hand, and I'm standing next to it, and the nade is allowed to cook the whole way through because I never get an indicator.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was anything else from like the Ubi Forward. Oh, I got a bone to pick. Where's Elite Customizations at?
Oh, I think they mentioned already back with the test.
There's technical debts.
No, I believe they said
Sorry,
it would come during year 6, and I think they said like halfway through year 6 or some like there was some sort of like release time that was not with this season. Like it wasn't in the season release.
Yeah, and this is probably my own fault.
Probably some mid.
I thought that it was supposed to come last season.
Well, in all fairness, they have been flooding us with things to come that we don't know when they're going to come.
Well,
right?
The second half of this year is obviously going to be really good because we still have the reputation system. We got elite customizations.
We have a stream.
We got who knows? Player outlines.
Yeah.
I mean, season 3 and season 4 are going to bang, man. They're going to bang.
But I'm scared that we get the bullet hole fix literally the first release after we were told about it, right?
Yeah.
But the other things have been like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing, or we're doing this thing. Oh, we don't know.
Yeah. When. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm really excited. And you know, let me say this: cross progression and crossplay is a big deal.
Sure.
That's great. Especially the cross progression. I don't know. I read the FAQ about it. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about it. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work with it. You know, I already have like a PS4 account that has its own Uplay account associated with it. Can I connect a separate Uplay account with that, or would I have to create? Would I have to like drag? I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't think it's. My understanding is it's not going to be the case where I can take everything I have on PS4 and transfer it over to my main account on PC right now. That's not my impression.
I'm not sure what exactly they're doing with that either. And if you can you like combine your different accounts, or
that's what I don't know. I don't know.
It's just dangerous for them to come out and say that we're working on cross progression, because that can go really south if it's not proper cross progression.
Well, I saw some people saying that they're not going to be able to transfer skins, and I was like, well, there's zero chance that they would announce cross progression that doesn't allow you to transfer your cosmetics.
Yeah, I mean, then there's no point.
Your clearance level is going to carry over?
Yeah, that makes
Who
sense.
cares? Yeah.
Actually, that would be worse, because I guess you'd be sharing Renow.
Yeah.
Right? And you wouldn't be sharing skins. That's a horrible idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is it's good that it's coming. You know, I would like to see them at least give console players the option to play unranked or quick match with PC players. I think that would be ideal. But yeah, I don't know. I especially Extraction is fully crossplay, correct?
I don't know, but I assume so. It's co-op.
I'm pretty sure they announced that it's fully cross progression, crossplay. So that would lead you to believe that. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
So let's just, I don't know, and that's what Overwatch is doing. Overwatch announced that they are doing crossplay between PC consoles, but in order to play competitive, I think is their ranked mode. You can't be crossplay between PC and console. Yeah. Makes sense.
If your argument is that you just want to be able to play with your friends, you can't be too upset if the one thing you can't do is play like competitive, right? Like
right. That makes perfect sense to me. NA League starts back up today. Well, at the time of recording this today, whenever you're watching this, it will have started yesterday. So that's exciting. EU League is back on LAN, right? They're actually in the studio now on LAN, I believe, for EU League.
So yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap it up there if you're okay with that. A little bit of a shorter episode for you guys today, but we got a lot of stuff going on. Zorank's got to get to dog training, so we'll let him get to that.
The whole place.
With that said, everybody out there, enjoy North Star. I hope you have a good season. I hope all of your dreams come true. I hope that you don't die to North Star skins too often. But, the funny thing about it, we probably sold more North Star skins in this episode than what, who knows, man. But
we got a sponsorship.
Anyway. All right. We'll wrap it up. We'll see you guys here in a couple weeks. And, enjoy your season.